Let me lower this. Hey, what's up, you guys? Just wanted to review my buddy Manny's match that happened at Grappling of the Badges in Hanford last weekend. I really enjoyed doing these breakdowns. I broke down my first super fight last month. Really enjoyed it. I obviously really enjoy watching breakdowns from other jiu-jitsu, other jiu-jitsu videos on YouTube and stuff. So thought I'd break down my buddy Manny's fight. It went the way I expected in most ways, and I just feel like it'd be fun to break it down. So I got a video on my phone. I was watching it, and from the side of the stage, and didn't catch the very beginning. In the very beginning, what we're seeing here, Manny already took the guy down. His opponent was a big dude, I think from Halo, and from Halo Jiu-Jitsu in Fresno. And so the fight commences from here. This is when I decided, hey, I should probably be recording right now. I missed a really great takedown. Manny shot the takedown, double leg, and his opponent tried to counter it, and it looked like he was just about to counter it perfectly, and then Manny lateral dropped, which, if you don't know the lateral drop, it's a wrestling move. He basically reversed the takedown and ended up on top, and his opponent, can't remember the guy's name, just terrible. I should know it because he's a fellow blue belt, same town, and I just watched the match on the weekend, but can't remember his name right now. But anyway, Manny ends up in top position. The guy puts a lockdown, which is like a half guard variation on Manny. As you can see here, the feet are crossed around Manny's top leg, inside leg. And so we'll just watch the fight together. I'll mute the audio because there was a lot of noise and I was kind of talking in the background at some points. So here we are. As you can see, he's in the lockdown. At this point, I thought, I wonder if Manny knows how to escape the lockdown. But Manny's such a tough guy. He's escaped my lockdown many times, and I can't remember the specific technique, but I think he just puts a lot of top pressure. He's putting a lot of top pressure here. And after the match, Manny was telling me, so here he's gonna try to unhook his leg. By knee cutting, he's pulling most of his leg out. He won't be able to get his foot out. At this point, the guy's had the lockdown for the guy had a lockdown position for about a minute. So Manny knee cuts through most of his gets most of his leg through, and then he's basically pushing the top leg to unhook. If the guy was utilizing his lockdown properly, he would have whipped Manny's leg out, making it very hard for Manny to knee cut like that. When you grab the lockdown, what you want to do is you want to stretch your opponent's leg out the opposite direction so that you can scoot yourself underneath your opponent more and more. And you can always tell when a guy doesn't know how to use the lockdown when he just uses the lockdown position to hold his opponent in place. You really want to use the lockdown position to scoot underneath your opponent by whipping his leg out. It's called the whip out. You kind of extend your legs out this way, and it lifts your opponent's leg up, and in conjunction his hips lift up off of yours, and you can scoot underneath him to get the underhook or whatever you're going to do from there. But in this case, Manny's cleared his leg and moved into side control straight into Gotama, which is Manny's signature position. He finishes so many people from this position. He submitted me over 20 times with this position, wins every tournament like this. So at this point, I thought the fight was probably about over. He's attacking his opponent's inside arm, trying to get it in between his legs for a straight arm lock position or a Kimura finish. Manny's great at this. Manny's got a black belt level Gotama arm lock, and even just the chest compression he finishes most of his opponents with. So at this point, I'm thinking the fight is pretty much over. That chest compression is so brutal, but this guy's got a wide trunk. He's a very strong guy as well. He didn't look as muscular in the gi as he did after the match. When he took his gi off, you could see how many muscles this guy really had. Huge bulging Hulk muscles. I think his nickname is something with Hulk in it. But at this point, as you can see, Manny's in the Gotama position for, it's been probably a minute already. and he's fighting really hard, the opponent on the bottom, and Manny's scooted up very high, so it's hard to get the chest compression with him scooted up that high. So he switches out from the Kesugatami position into standard side control, and at this point I felt like a little bit uncertain about the direction of the match, because I rarely see Manny abandon the Kesugatami position. So I wasn't sure what was going to happen from here, but I still had faith because Manny's a super tough dude, so I had more hope for the bottom guy at this point. But let's see. So now it looks like Manny's working for the collar, the top collar. Manny before the match said he was going to go for the paper cutter choke, and it looks like that's what he starts to set up here. I don't know what his psychology was about abandoning the Kesugatami, but he grabbed the cross collar, started to set up the paper cutter choke, and then decided to move to mount, which mount isn't Manny's strongest position. It's side control and Kesugatami, which is the head and arm control. But that said, the scarf hold position. That said, he moved to mount. Manny's super athletic guy, and who knows what he wanted from mount, but the ref's gonna reset them here. And let's just see what happens. So he dismounts, which is fair. The guy's trying to capture Manny's leg again, but it doesn't work. Manny's a super tough guy, and you're not gonna roll him. The guy was so big that I thought it was a possibility that Manny could get rolled, but I've got so much faith in this guy because I've been on the receiving end of his top pressure so many times. It's hard to tell what's going on here. If you look at this far corner, you can kind of see, but now he's opening up to the knee on belly position, which this wasn't a points scored match. It's a submission only match, but Manny's just such a tough guy, and if you can get a knee on belly, why not drain out your opponent, you know, tire him out. So he's just keeping the knee on belly position. It looks like he's trying to set up a paper cutter choke again. It's hard to set this up so slowly. I feel like it's just kind of gotta happen organically, otherwise it's gonna be really hard to choke. The opponent's gonna be expecting it. This is a match where Manny mostly dominated topside control the entire time. I think at this point the ref had said 30 seconds, or someone said 30 seconds. I think the time clock is over here, so we couldn't see it. I think Danny Castro, who was coaching this guy, said 30 seconds. We all heard it, and that's when Manny switches back to Kesugatami. And now he's just going for his signature chest compression, which is so brutal and draining. You can't breathe. And the opponent's hand goes up here, and he taps. So let's go back 1 second, because I want to look again at right here is the moment the opponent's hand stops defending the pressure, and you can see it waving. He's preparing for the tap, and inevitably it comes right in the last 10 seconds of the match, and Manny gets another Kesugatame chest compression finish, and that's how the match ends. So yeah, I think, you know, I say the match went as I expected, but it kind of didn't, because I expected the match to end with the first Kesugatame position here about 2 minutes in. I thought it was over here, because I've pretty much been unable to escape Manny's Kesugatame. I've seen him finish so many different people with it. Doesn't matter what belt color. This guy, you know, is unstoppable. I've seen him submit a black belt with this, honest to goodness. And so yeah, I mean, what can be said? What else can be said? I think that the ultimate, I have a few, I guess, finishing thoughts. The ultimate challenge for Manny's opponents is going to be to learn to escape an expert level Kisagatame. And I say expert level not because Manny is practiced for years in the Kisagatame position, but because he's so strong and so athletic that his opponent will need to be stronger and more athletic to combat that. And there has been times when Manny's failed to finish the Kisagatame chest compression submission. This is a prime example. The first attempt here, there's been times when he's failed to submit me with the chest compression, but the double-edged sword of the position is the arm lock and Kimura, and Manny is so good at those as well that it's really a three-headed dragon, three-headed dragon of a position for Manny. And so anyone who faces Manny and wants to defeat him is going to have to learn to defend the Kisagatame position at an expert level and avoid that circumstance from happening, avoid that scenario. I will also say that I think to defeat Manny, you need to make sure you need to have an ability to keep a very strong, large opponent, athletic opponent, at a distance. And you can't, unless you're a superb wrestler, you won't be able to defeat him playing the top game battle, because he's just got so much ferociousness. It's going to be hard to overcome. The other thing I will say is, by the time people learn to defend the Kisagatame position at a level that can compare with Manny's offensive Kisagatame, he will have developed other skills. He's already developing new skills all the time, and we just haven't had to see them because of how good he is at this position. So there's really no knowing how deep the puddle goes when it comes to Manny's offensive threat with grappling. The other thought I will mention is, oh shoot, I think I lost my thread. I think I had another chain of thought, but seems to have eluded me. Yeah, so anyway, that was that. It's a really fun match. It's really fun to watch Manny compete. He's a super entertaining competitor, very tough guy, and yeah, we'll see if anyone can beat this guy. I've seen him. I know that he's lost by points. I know that he's been submitted before, but not in competition. And it's truly remarkable what he's able to do to his opponents. It's by sheer ferocity and athleticism that this guy's able to do what he does in competition. The event overall was great. Grappling of the Badges is a really neat event, and I will definitely continue to attend them in the future. But overall, yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to review Manny's match and just kind of talk about it, share my thoughts, my technical breakdown. I wish I would have gotten the takedown in the beginning because it was so good. The lateral drop was expertly executed. That's it. Thank you guys for watching, if anyone watched, and that's it. Yeah, see ya.